Spengler begins with the premise that every culture has a life cycle similar to that of a living organism, undergoing phases of birth, growth, maturity, and decay. This biological metaphor underpins his historical analysis, suggesting that cultures emerge organically from a confluence of deep, often mystical forces that are specific to each locale and people. Civilizations follow three distinct cases: pre-culture, culture, and civilizations. Emergence of culture. Cultures emerge from what Spengler terms a Ursprung, or primal source, rooted deeply in the local environment and the fundamental spirit, or soul, of the people. This source is influenced by geographic, climatic, and ethnic characteristics that combine to give each culture its unique flavor. The initial phase of a culture's life cycle is marked by a formative period of creativity and rapid development. This is a spiritual awakening, where the fundamental ideas, beliefs, and values of a culture are established. It's akin to the springtime of a civilization. Evolution of culture. As cultures evolve, they expand intellectually, artistically, and territorially. This expansion parallels the summer of a life cycle. During this period, the core ideas of the culture are expressed through various means such as religion, art, architecture, and social structure. Following the period of artistic and expansive flourish, cultures undergo a phase of rationalization. Here, the original intuitive insights and spiritual beliefs become systematized into coherent bodies of thought, laws, and ethical systems. This phase is characterized by the rise of critical analysis and intellectual discourse, moving from what Spengler describes as culture to civilization. Transformation into civilization. The transition from culture to civilization marks the autumn of a civilization, where the emphasis shifts from creative cultural expressions to rational and utilitarian aspects. It's marked by the rise of cities, the proliferation of technology, and the dominance of political institutions that manage the complex needs of a more organized society. In the winter phase of a civilization, the original spiritual and creative impulses of the culture give way to a stark materialism. Here, life becomes more mechanized, and the high ideals and artistic sensibilities of the culture are replaced by a focus on material success and security. This phase is characterized by the development of vast bureaucracies, the expansion of imperial conquests, and the prevalence of economic thinking in place of philosophical or spiritual introspection. The decline. The final stage of a culture's life cycle is its decline, or the phase of decay. The civilization, having lost its creative spark and living off the achievements of its peak, no longer produces original or enriching cultural artifacts or ideas. Depending on various external and internal factors, a civilization might either transition into a new form, potentially giving rise to a new culture cycle, or it might collapse entirely, leaving behind remnants that may influence emerging cultures. Spengler's philosophy of history sees the progression of cultures and civilizations not as linear, but as cyclical, with each culture experiencing inevitable phases of rise and decline. His analysis provides a somber reflection on the transient nature of human achievements and the enduring rhythms of historical change.